The famous President of America, the late John F. Kennedy, said, "Do not ask what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country."
Welcome to another episode of Voice Your Vichar on Goan Vichar. So today is a rather different day and a different personality that we are going to talk to. We are in the Dabolim constituency of Goa. And why I'm saying it's different? Because a person, after serving the nation, the armed forces, for about 26 years and leaving his service midway for doing something for the society, and especially Goa, he founded something known as Goan Awaz. And from there he took a transition and said, okay, it's time to join politics. I think definitely by now you all know who I'm talking about. It's Captain Viriato. So Captain, welcome to Voice Your Vichar. As everybody says, Konkani tane olo pa, so Konkani no olo ami. But Captain, the first thing that I want to ask you is highly decorated life full of discipline, life full of principles. Right after your education at GEC, you joined the Navy. You grew the ranks over there. And Imagir, you came back and you said, it's time to do something for Goa. How does this transition take place from a naval officer to a civilian's life, and that to a political life?
Actually, when I left the Navy in 2017, the idea was different. I was planning for something totally different. I was supposed to go abroad for a second career.
Okay.
My job was almost done in a defense company in the UAE. It was a joint venture between the government of UAE and DOD, Department of Defense, America. I was on the verge of joining. Fantastic salary, something one can dream of. I was going as a project manager for setting up some facility, defense facility. That was the time, somewhere in 2018, on the verge of leaving, early 2018, the government, the BJP, passed a law. They operationalized something called Regional Plan 2021.
Yeah.
Now, I won't go into the details, but that law would sound the death knell of Goa. म्हणजे ह्या कायदो पळय ताणें ऑपरेशनलायज केलो. तुमकां उगड आसा समवेर 2010-11 there was lot of noise in Goa. In 2008 there was an organization called GBA, Goa Bachao Abhiyan. They came, galvanized the people against a regional plan which was meant to sell every inch of Goa to the real estate. And then in 2012, the anger of the people helped the BJP to come to power. And then Chief Minister Shri Parrikar had promised that he will freeze that law, rather scrap that particular law. He didn't do that. So 2018 जेन्ना हांव भायर वचपाचो आसलो, सडनली तो कायदो ऑपरेशनलायज्ड केलो. आनी हांव जेन्ना एका प्रेजेंटेशनाक गेलो, एका मिटिंगेक, I saw how our fields, agricultural land, our hills, land next to the rivers, forest land, everything was up for grabs by the real estate. Goa would never be the same again. Goa would turn into a concrete jungle. Just because of the greed and profit of few individuals, very much Goans, in connivance with real estate lobbies, not only in India, across the world, they were selling Goa. And I felt, हांवें जोडलें आनी हांव गोंया आयलो आनी तें म्हजें गोंय तर उरोंक ना जाल्यार कितें फायदो. सो हांव रावलो. खुबशे गोंयान लोक आसा, गोंयचो मोग करता, एक उलो मारलो, आमी सगळे एक जाले. And we felt the people's voice has to be heard in the assembly. And that is why the people's voice in Goa, Goincho Awaz, was formed. And we decided to fight. Because the opposition was totally disintegrated. The BJP was breaking them up, buying the MLAs. So we had to do something. And that is how I gave up the plans of going abroad, stayed back, joined thousands of people, and the fight is still on.
Yeah. Captain, तुम्हें बोलने कि गोइंचो आवाज was a non-political organization to save Goa. But then definitely you found it that you तुम्ही लोकां एकठांय केलो. From nooks and corners of Goa, people joined that group. But Magir, you only went out and joined Congress. How did that happen?
Yeah. There is a reason for that. We took up issues after issues, starting with regional plan. Taja upran ODP zalo. The government was hell-bent in converting every inch into a concrete jungle. So ODP kadle thani, outline development plan, Kalangu, then Kandoli and Arpora and all those places, and Santa Cruz. I mean, they were ruthlessly selling Goa. So we took up that issue also. After that, they decided to convert 56 villages into urban areas. So we took up that battle. The government had to take up that notification. So we were tasting victory. We knew the people's power is more powerful than the elected government. Then came the coastal zone management plan, where we saw that the state government, in connivance with the central government, tani pai jo distance ha from the high tide line to where you can do your construction, or you can call it a buffer zone or whatever, they were bringing it to as close as the high tide line itself. They're reducing it to 100 meters, and I'm sure they're going to reduce it to 50 meters. The idea was to sell that entire land along the river, along the shore, again to these big lobbies, 5-star hotels. So आयज तर गोंया आमकां आयडेंटिफाय जाता की आमच्यो त्यो बीचीज, आमचें जी शेतां हा, दोंगर हा, हें सगळें destroy जातालें. And who are these politicians? They are from the very society that we have grown up with. But तांकां ती आशा पयशांची, तांणी चिंतूंक ना गोंयांक विकपाक, आपणाचो स्वार्थ विकपाक. So we were fighting this battle. Then came the 3 linear projects. Pandemic zale, coronavirus, 23rd March, if I am not mistaken, the lockdown started. Ani tennachan ice pasun we have not yet come out. But immediately after the lockdown in March 2020, people were inside, people were having a lot of problems, thousands of people were dying. But amka kolun aile ki the central government, with full knowledge of the state government, tani kite kaide pass kele, which we call them the 3 linear projects. Ye 3 projects would finish Goa once and for all. Amche je youth ha, amche je leader ha, खूब जण, young fellows in their 30s and 40s, and the youth are in their teens, colleges. We all sat together, we formed teams, we studied, analyzed these 3 projects, and we concluded decisively कि ये 3 projects पे ऐसा, whether it is the double tracking of the southwestern railways, whether it is expansion of the national highways, or the 400 kV transmission line passing through the wildlife sanctuary and all those places which was damaging the Western Ghats, they were all meant to transfer the coal. And that coal was, transportation was being handled by big companies like Adani, Ambani, Jindal and all those fellows. We did more studies, we found that it's a huge conspiracy. And Goa was being turned into a coal hub. We even went to, I think so, about 84 villages across Goa. South, then north. People were coming in thousands. Sarkar BLO. 19th December 2020, they even arrested me and Father Bolmax Pereira, who was mentoring the youth. You know, he is like an icon to the youth. So they thought they will stop us by arresting. The court threw out the case in the first hearing, quashed the very case what was there. Then the youth, you also come in that age group. Youth are very aggressive and they are impatient, they want results. You tell them, no, macha sarkar, sorry, they'll say. They don't tolerate nonsense of the government. They said, we'll go into politics. If they're not listening to us, we'll go into the very system and change the system. So it took us time to convince, but finally they convinced us, the youth convinced us. And that is how we decided to go political. But when we decided and announced our plan to go political, we realized that the government was using some activists. Even in activism, third activists astele who government agents. So they were using these activists to put hurdles, to put objections to our registration of the party. So it was getting delayed. At the same time, I started my campaign in Dabolim. Now wherever I went, wherever we explained why a person like me from a military background, politics, the people probably must have been watching what we were doing in the last 4 years. They said, no, we want you. We want you to contest.
So this is because of the people that you're into politics now?
It was because of the youth. But when we started campaigning, the people started saying you have to come on a national party like the Congress.
Okay.
So we tried to explain to them, it's better to have a regional party. We have already on our way registration. They said, no. Your opponent is a man who manipulates. If you go as an individual, as a part of a regional party, it will be difficult because he is extremely unpopular, money power, police force, gundagiri. He said you have to go on a national party which will back you. And they kept saying you have to go on the Indian National Congress. So I consulted my colleagues, my friends, well-wishers who were there, the youth. I said, this is what is coming from ground, that I have to go on the Congress. I will decide, I will agree to whatever you all say. Even if you all tell me not to contest, I will not contest. So they said, okay, I think so. Congress is the only party which is secular, democratic, and there's no problem, you can go on the national party. In the meanwhile, the Congress leaders were trying to convince us for quite some time, but we said no, this is the thing. Finally, we agreed. We had some demands, about almost 17, 18 demands, all concerning Goa, concerning youth, concerning jobs, concerning health, law and order, so many. They accepted, they adopted this as part of this.
So all this happened and you were a part of Congress?
Yes. And finally they said, you give us a date. A very big leader of the Congress party personally wants to come and induct you. So finally that was 10th December. I feel greatly honored that Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra flew down for my induction. I have been told never ever they have done induction of an individual, but since they did it, I feel greatly honored.
Okay.
And I will remain committed.
Okay. So that is another very important thing, commitment. You being from the forces, anybody will vouch for it, that commitment will be there. But I want to know from you, Captain, that your opposition right now is Mervyn Gudino, the toughest one that we can see right now. And that he has muscle power, he has money power, he has this thing, and you're going not to fight but to defeat. Okay, one of the things that I was listening to. What do you feel about this? Your analysis about the whole thing, will that get you through the whole thing?
Jenna we decide kele Dabolim constituency Rautalo election. As you said, a powerful individual, a minister, 30-35 years, MLA, Modi Pidderu is allo, involved in corruption, scam, police cases, a court case. But I sat and I analyzed. Believe me, Mervyn Gudino is the weakest candidate. He is not a powerful candidate. If he was strong, he would have come on his own. He is not on his own. I is a gunda bonta. I is the policing force. Even the cops are not happy with him. He is using money power, manipulations. It shows that he is weak on his own. So, to ye sagle istamal karta. I have come on the people's power. My strength is the people, the voters. You know, we don't believe in money power and muscle power and gundagiri. Ami goikar kashe bhayar saran, the so-called parda which is there, ek powerful, no, the parda kadpache asa. You will find a weakling inside. Sarko bhiello munis fatlen asa paito. And like this kind of characters are there across Goa. But we are starting the fight from Dabolim. Anka sagalang expose karte. Even the High Court few days back gave a verdict to do that trial on fast track in which he was involved power scheme. So in any case to jailin waspacho asa. Taka vote galo punche waste of vote.
So you're saying that Mavina vote gail it's gone.
Gone.
It's waste.
Yes.
Assembly devu paupana.
Any case he is not going to win. You know, ye poi tane khelle itli varsa gundagiri, money power, manipulation, using state machinery. Somewhere it has to come to an end because amka shikoille laan astana. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. Sadhya, they have proved it wrong. It is of the people because ami vote matta. But magir kine gotta? It is, every dictation is by these fellows, big crony capitalists and सगळे गिरेस पळय ते सांगता सरकार कसो चलोवपाचो एंड इट इज फॉर द क्रॉनिक कॅपिटलिस्ट जिंदालाक अडानीक आनी रियल एस्टेटाक हे तांचे गुलाम जाल्ले आसा नोबडी इज देयर गरीब लोकांक हेल्प करपाक पॅन्डेमिकाच्या टायमार वेर वॉज मॉविन गुदिनो वी केम टू नो कॉन्क्रीट इन्फॉर्मेशन तो खंय साळ म्हणटा थंयसर बिचोले व्हडलो खंय फार्म हावस आसा लक्झरी तातूंत तो मजा मारतालो आनी आमचे हांगा लोक मरताले People were dying for lack of oxygen, there was no rations, there was no amenities, health facilities had collapsed. And this man, why? He has no right even to come to contest elections. He should contest from Bicholim. Thoi Rahullo to Lipun.
Okay, so Lokan Jedna Gorozali Tedna Tumuta MLA or the minister was not there. What did Captain you do during that time for the people?
See, there are certain things I believe that one should not tell what one has done. There were quite a few families in Dabolim, in fact across Goa, but I am talking of one family in Bogmalo. They didn't want their name to be told. But I saw a WhatsApp message ashilli volunteers jai mun jevan distribute karpak.
Okay.
This family at Bogmalo, daily the family जेवण रांदताली हांव नको कितले लोकांक जेवण बांदताली विथ देयर ओन सेविंग्स यू नो सिंपल गोवन फॅमिली आनी आमी इकरांक वेताले वॉलंटियर्स दे डीड नॉट नो हू आय वॉज आय नेवर टोल्ड देम आय एम कॅप्टन विरियाटो फर्नांडीस नथिंग लायक दॅट देर वर मेनी वॉलंटियर्स अननोन टू ईच अदर बट इट वॉज दॅट कितें म्हणटा मनशापण म्हणटा पळय ते ताणें आमकां लागीं हाडलेले आणि आम्ही जेवणाची पॅकेटां पॅकअप करताली ती पिकअप करून गाडयेन माय एरिया वॉज म्हणजे फ्रॉम डाबोलीम मंगोर मायमोले वास्को अप टील सडा दॅट वॉज माय एरिया फॉर डिस्ट्रिब्युशन ऑफ फूड फॉर जे पॉझिटिव्ह जाल्ले पळय ते दे वर इन आयसोलेशन सो तांच्या घरा वचून जेवण दिवप तशे खूब जाण हाल्ले डाबोलेचे जे आय वॉज जस्ट वन ऑफ देम you know. So in fact sumar 15-20 dis jalle that family imagine I mean God bless them tani even maka sangle tuja petrolak ami paise diung sokta so I felt very humbled I said no very sorry tumi pay kide kartat hai we can't even match 10% जेवण हाडटा तुमी सगळे रॉ मटेरियल रांदतात पॅकिंग करतात इज द ग्रेटेस्ट थिंग वॉट यू आर डुईंग वी आर जस्ट आमी डिस्ट्रिब्यूट करता like that from गोंयचो आवाज there were members volunteers all over आमचो पळय मेंबर हा रोशन मतायस from कांदोली he with his entire team had taken up the responsibility of monitoring parameters of positive patients in Kandoli Kalangud belt the primary health centers with the youth so 3 times they monitor करताले what is the temperature any symptoms कोणाक खोंकली येता some That way he then got connected with other public health centers. अशें करून up till म्हाका दिसता Kortali, Kansauli, Vasco, we were connected. In some hospital they were scared. Like Amche Cottage Hospital, somebody said, no, MLA will feel bad if you come into. I said, Amche nawa sangpachi garaz na. We want to do a silent survey.
Okay.
So this is what we did. Not to be told, but since you are asking, I am saying, we did it quietly.
On a low scale.
On a very quiet scale, because the doctors didn't have volunteers. So doctors found us as, the youth as some who were out there to help them. They were the extended arms of the medical fraternity that stood up during the difficult times.
During the required times, okay. Captain te sangile upran. Another very important thing is, I'll come back again and again, I'm coming back to the armed forces because that is very strongly linked to the whole thing. And principles, something that is very strict. I was an NCC cadet in the Navy and the Army Wing Infantry, so I've got a little knowledge of it, very little. Yours will be vast and beyond imagination, my imagination. All those principles that are there in place, and when you shift and come to politics, you have to have some way where you have to mend those principles, to gel with people and to do many things. Not
really. Politics is not bad. Individuals and politics are bad name alla. Either individuals yetat poisha korpa. Maybe many of them come with good intentions, serve kottele. Somewhere they get trapped. Many are there politicians who are very clean till today. They live by the principles for which they came to serve the people. I am a pensioner. एक हिंदी मुन्ने हा दो वक्त की रोटी. Whether I am in politics or I am not working, my pension will help me lead a decent life, comfortable life. Now, that one thing about corruption, I will never fall prey because मुझे self belief आमका सगल्यांक निमणो उगत येतलो. The judgment day, जोट्टेर म्हणटा आमी, आमचो मरणाचो टायम येतलो. My belief is I will be there face to face with God. What will I tell God? That हांवें चोरयो केल्यो म्हूण, हांवें फटयले, माफ कर. No. You have to answer for your sins. It's better to remain honest. Better not to get involved in anything that will someday trap you into a situation difficult to come out. I want to lead that path. I also want to set an example that this is the path one has to follow. Like some people want to help me during these elections. They know we are financially not strong in our campaign. Finance, we said no, naka. Because we are worried that we may have to compromise. So we said we will fight our battle on our own principles. Okay.
So this is the whole idea that you don't want any money to be involved with your campaign. You want the true votes, the pois dinastana, that will come to you, and if that comes to you, Magir, you will serve wholeheartedly because you have not given money, you don't have to recover the money.
Absolutely.
And then you can smoothly go ahead and do your job with conviction and with perfection.
Correct.
Without any flaws in it. Okay. Having said that, Captain, Anek, very important thing. A beautiful career in the Navy, and you took a premature retirement. Obviously, definitely having plans to go to the UAE, like you said earlier, and being a project manager, different responsibility, but you stayed back. But that period where you had to resign or where you had to leave the Navy, how difficult was it for you? Because
no, I had planned it.
Okay.
I had planned it. I was planning it from 2012. That was the time I started, I enrolled myself for MBA.
Okay.
I did it in operations because see, I knew Jenna, I come out of the Navy, my competitors would be youth just out from college. Everybody does MBA. So I did my MBA. I had my mechanical engineering degree. I did my specialization in marine engineering. I did my later on specialization in aeronautics. But I had to compete again with the youngsters. And the company prefers youngsters. Tanka tarnate jay. Because tarnatang te mold kartele. Tarnatang sangtele tumi 8 वरा ni 12 वरा काम करूंगा 15 वरा. I had to compete with them. My qualification. So I did an MBA, then I did one more MBA because if I had to have that edge above the youth.
So you did a double MBA?
I did a double MBA. The second one was in supply chain management. And then I also enrolled myself for PMP, Project Management Professional. But that last exam is remaining because I got involved in this movement and but I did the entire training, the certification. I also did my Six Sigma, that is a quality related management. I straight away went for the black belt degree. Then I did certification in contract management from University of Southampton, UK. So I was preparing, collecting all these degrees and qualifications and diplomas so that I compete with the youngster. I had all the experience, but I had to stand and have an edge over him. But after having done all this, I had then the Jannat to time ailo. You have all your qualifications, you have a fantastic salary. I think so Makadista starting when we convert to dirham, it was coming to some 22 lakhs a month something and other this. But I had to choose between that and my love for Goa. I had to convince my family, I had to convince my father who is 89 years old that sorry, what I have been preparing, what you all of you all have been preparing, we have to abandon those plans. Because this is what it was difficult for them also, but they realized my deep love for Goa. And they have been my strength in this journey from the beginning. I mean, the way what my parents had taught me as a child, and now even after marriage, my wife has stood by me. So, I think so, I had to abandon all those plans. Maybe sometimes, Deva anikita plan asta. Tuye sipai pan kele, desa khatir ata Goya khatir.
So the steering wheel of everybody's life is in God's hands, and that's what you say, right?
Yes.
So the transition happened over there, and definitely, maybe when you were a kid, that time your family supported you in joining the Navy and say, okay, go, do it. Then you got married. Then your children, they might have said that, okay, go ahead. So all this support from family is very crucial.
Yes.
But at any point of time, did they say, no, why are you doing this?
It comes only sometimes when I finish my campaigning. Kasat jallo asta, ratcho pavta ghara, basta, chitta. Was this part of that plan that God has planned? You know, sometimes that thought comes, changing over from activism, which was also not my choice, but there was, you can say, by chance. And then switching over to politics. I would rather, you know, if, okay, not going abroad, even if I get my pension, I can enjoy life, but then there's no regret, because when I see the people, amche lokang fotel, amche lokang manipulate kelle asa. Ais tar ye MLA, minister na kode itli sampatti asa, itle wealth asa, it belongs to the people, the taxpayers. जो पळय आपणाचे सॅक्रिफायस करता भुरग्यांक शिकोवपाक, ताजे पयशे टॅक्स पेयर्स हे MLA आनी हे चोरयो करून खातात. आयज हे MLA ची फॅमिली भुरगीं फॉरेनाक आसा. आयज आमचे गोंयकार जॉब ना म्हण तर भायर गेल्ले आसा युरोपाक with Portuguese passport or in UK is because there are no opportunities. These MLAs have no vision that आमी एक गोंयांक बरें एक विजन करया, एम्प्लॉयमेंट, सेल्फ सस्टेनिंग, कांयच ना. कोणाक तर जॉब जाय 15 लाख, 20 लाख, 25 लाख ब्राइब दी. अरे दे वॉन्ट जॉब बिकॉज दे डोंट हॅव मनी. ते म्हणटा आमी आमच्या स्वता पांयार उबे रावंक सोदता. आमकां आमचो स्वाभिमान इज इम्पॉर्टंट. आमकां जॉब जाय, आमी जोडटा. बट MLA कितें म्हणटा, यू गिव मी सो मच मनी. ते तर तांचे आवय बापूय तो लोन काडीत ते पयशे अरेंज करपाक. फायनली द सन ऑर डॉटर फील्स अरे म्हज्या आवय बापायन इतलो लोन काडून ह्या MLAंक पयशे दिला जॉबाक. नाव आय हॅव टू गेट इन टू करप्शन टू रिकवर दॅट मनी. सो दॅट विशस सायकल इज ऑन. आयज लोक सगळे पुलिसांक चोर चोर म्हणटा. हांव पुलिसांक चोर म्हणना. देर इज अ रिजन. बिकॉज त्या पुलिसाक जॉब मेळपाक डिस्पायट ही डिजर्विंग ताचे आवय बाबायन 40-45 lakhs रीण काडून दिला. त्या दिसा स्कॅम पासून आयला एक्सपोज जाल्ल्या. इट इज हॅपनिंग टुडे ऑल्सो. सो वॉट डज दॅट पुलीस ऑफिसर से? माय पेरंट्स घर गिरवी दवरला, लोनार दवरला, काय यू नो आय हॅव टू रिकवर. ही इज फोर्स्ड टू डू दॅट. वी हॅव टू स्टॉप दॅट. That is why one of the things what I am thinking is we have to introduce police reforms which the Supreme Court had passed.
Okay.
2006 the law was passed. You know, this is, I mean, not the law, the order was given. So this is where we want to bring police reform. Free the police from those the chains पय आसा ते गुलाम जाल्ले आसा पॉलिटिशियन. तांकां फ्रीडम दिवपाक. आयज पुलिसाची कित्याक भिरांत दिसता? पुलिस आर देयर टू प्रोटेक्ट अस. We should not fear the police. But politicians तांकां बंदूक धरलेले आसा. Game has to change from chore police to police chore it should be. That is what is our aim.
Okay. So from chore police to police chore. That is okay. So the whole reforms that you want to get is to clear the police and free the police so that they function independently.
They function independently.
So that they have no clutches or no responsibility towards somebody saying something to them and they smoothly do their work.
Absolutely.
And then the people also will be like, when they see a police officer, they'll be like, okay, this guy is for my safety.
In fact, few days back, one very senior police officer tried to threaten one of our supporters. I came to know. Immediately, in 2 hours, we found all the assets of the police officer. You can do it if you are honest. We told we will expose this police officer. Because you are wrong. You are supposed to be on the right side of the law. We are fearless. But the day I am wrong, we will be in the same day.
In the same zone.
Yes.
So then you can't point out fingers because it will come back to you also. Okay. Captain, another thing is at San Jacinto Island once, flag hoisting alagon problems ale. The Navy and the locals. You being a local person from Goa and also a part of the Navy. Goinkara teni anti-national mole. More than anything else, it will pain the Goans first and also might have pained you.
Absolutely.
So, and I know that you were a part of that thing over there to be as a mediator and sort out the issue. What exactly happened over there and what did the people of San Jacinto?
First of all, I was not a mediator. Okay. Second, the controversy was most unwanted. Third, the reasons behind it, there was a misunderstanding. Navy got a circular from the central government. Mr. Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, he came with this idea that amchi islands are there, thousands of islands across India. On every island, you have to plant a flag, hoist a flag on the Independence Day. Idea was good, but sometimes not practical. Now, Navy, what they did in Vasco, they came straight to the island and asked the people, where can we, which was a mistake. Navy should have approached the deputy collector or the Mamlat, the local administration, or they should have approached the panchayat. Baba, this is the order which has come. So please guide us where to hoist the flag. So that was a mistake of the Navy. All said and done. They went there, some people out of, okay, your Navy, tumi laya flag. But some locals from San Jacinto Island, they said, आमी 15 ऑगस्ट सदांच फ्लॅग हॉइस्ट कोत्ता ह्या फावट नेवी सडनली कित्याक आयली. सो दे ऑब्जेक्टेड. दे सेड तूं आमकां ऑर्डर दाखय, तूं म्हणटा प्रायम मिनिस्टराची, आमकां दाखय. सो दे वेंट बॅक टू ब्रिंग दॅट पर्टिक्युलर सर्क्युलर फ्रॉम द प्रायम मिनिस्टर्स ऑफिस जी आयल्या ती. इन द मीन वायल somebody told Jose Philip, Jose Philip unwanted controversy केली. He brought the press to the island. What was the reason? आणि म्हणपा लागलो आम्ही धांवणान घाले नेवी. Wrong word used. धांवणान घाले. The locals asked the police, the Navy, show us the order, and the Navy people went back. And the people were right. You have to show the order. वो बेश्टोच आयलो थंयसर प्रेस कॉन्फरन्स घेतले आमी धांवडान घाले तांकां ते घालूंक सोदताले आनी कितें. Now the press took that particular bite of Jose Philip and went to Marvin Gudino. Now Marvin Gudino and ताजे भितर कितें understanding हाडलें or we don't know, because Marvin Gudino suddenly says people of São Jacinto are anti-national, and then the chief minister gives orders that police case to be filed. This was on 13th. हें जाल्लें पळय तें. 14th it became a big controversy across India. आमच्या गोंयकारांचें नांव पिड्यार जालें एंटी नॅशनल. कोणें केलें? मॉविन गुदिनान अँड दिस चीफ मिनिस्टर प्रमोद सावंत. अरे यू आर द फादर फिगर्स, तुमी आमचे आवय बापूय मरे, तुमी आमच्या लोकांक एंटी नॅशनल म्हणटा. अँड साव जासिंतो आयलंड पीपल आर द बिगस्ट नॅशनलिस्ट बिकॉज एवरी 15th ऑगस्ट ते फ्लॅग होइस्ट कोत्ता. इफ यू रिमेंबर लास्ट इयर 26 January Marvin Gudino tried to hoist the flag at Tilak Maidan. That flag also would not come down. Even the flag don't for consecutive times it has happened. But São Jacinto people are proper nationalist, patriotic. कोण सांगनासतना ते मोगान हें कोत्ता. So after that Marvin Gudino and one more minister were there to file a complaint. They started putting pressure on the Indian Navy that you file an FIR, we are coming as witnesses. And that is the time a very senior officer in the Navy called me up. I was sitting for lunch, आमी press conference येताले आगासाईन, हांव and the Korea family, Nino Korea. We were just, the lunch was just served. जेवच्या पयलीं म्हाका फोन आयलो एक senior officer. He said, please save these people of São Jacinto are very innocent, very good people, and we are being forced to file a complaint. तूं मातशें कितें कर, तूं local. So I thought the best way, to teach a lesson to these politicians, we will show the whole world now what we are. And I came to São Jacinto Island. Neviche kon aile, and ami flag hoist kelo. Finished. The controversy was over. Marvin Gudino called Jose Philip anti-national after that. Lokankoy mone, but if Jose Philip had not come there, आयज तर त्या लोकांचेर केस जाल्ली anti-national म्हूण ते लोक बावडे आख्खे लायफ झेलीन काडपाचे, because the laws are very strict. These are sedition charges.
So it will be a very troublesome situation for the people.
Absolutely.
काय कोण असतं?
काय कोन्नाका
घरा बसून
त्रासान पडपाचे. So these politicians play the games. आणि म्हाका दिसता आतां पळयत तर दोगांय भितर अंडरस्टँडिंग हाडले, Marvin Gudino and Jose Philip, because they were involved in more controversies also when they were MLAs and ministers before.
Okay. Captain, having said that, another thing that's very important is what do you feel in Goa are disciplinary measures that are very necessary for Goa and the Goan politics?
See, as far as people of Goa are concerned, they are educated, they are wise, they are knowledgeable, and they are disciplined, self-disciplined. Now what is happening is, here poi tourist eta. In the last, we are seeing 10, 12, 15 years, the tourist poi young lagle. They have a lot of money, but absolutely no discipline, no civic sense. Hui sorop yetat, hui batle udaitat. Amche bhailo chedo vetat tanga. They pass remarks, snide remarks, which was never the case in Goa. Why it is happening? Tumi poila astele sagle casinos aille asa. Mandovin. Ata they are going to Perne. Gambling, drugs, prostitution, rapes. Yeah, amche Goan nashilne. So somehow the casino people are controlling the politicians now. Even this government is being controlled by the casino. If you remember, amche taxi wale bauha, saglanche business gelle asa because of the pandemic. Tanka ani mar galo ani meter galpak. When they had no business, tani loan kadlele taxi घेवपाक ani किदें, as गोंयचो आवाज आमच्या ऑर्गनायझेशनान लेटर बरयली सरकाराक. तांचे मातशे फ्रीज कर सद्या, मोरेटोरियम दिया, तांकां आनीक त्रासान घालनाका. They rejected our demand. But at that time, casinoचे 278.8 crores माफ केले. कोणे केले? Our MLA, Marvin Gudino, who is the GST minister. That was the money which was coming as taxes. तांचे 278.8 crore. Enough to म्हणजे लोकांक जेवण दिवपाक फॉर नेक्स्ट कितले 10 वर्सांक जेवण दिवपाक फ्री काम करनासतना तांचे माफ केले. आनी आमच्या लोकांक जॉब ना, आमच्या लोकांक टॅक्सीवाल्यांक ऑर पीपल हू हॅड टेकन लोन फॉर होम्स तांकां कांयच रिलीफ ना. So these people are gulam zalle asa, crony capitalists, which we are going to throw them out.
But Captain, it is that the Congress has brought the casinos in Goa, right? And you are a part of that party today.
No, this is a new Congress which is being built up. But at the same time, if you go back, there was a change of government at that time. Congress government was thrown out, and there was some faction of the Congress which tied up with the BJP, Mr. Parrikar. Mr. Sardin became the chief minister. It was not a Congress government. It was, I don't know what it was called, it was a coalition between the BJP and a faction which had left.
And then when Sardin had gone out and his government was defeated.
They brought one casino. After that, under BJP, there were many casinos which came. Today, if there are so many casinos, was the follow-up.
Yeah.
Because if you go back, Jenna BJP Sarkar swearing in Zalo first time. The fuller one kon bosullo to tumka kaltele. That will show till today who is controlling the government. The man who is controlling the casino people, he was sitting right in front.
Okay, so that's your say on that. Okay. Captain Anik Mula, Dabolim khatir tuge vision kite?
Pai, sadya Dabolim, there are a lot of problems. Kaint korung na. Dabolim constituency as it stands, major portion, almost 75% of the in terms of the area was part of Kortali constituency.
Okay.
Wade, New Wade were part of Vasco. Now, 2012, with the delimitation, Dabolim came into being. Ice pasun after 10 years, lokang sarke udakna. We are buying tankers. Some people get water at Wade, New Wade, Dabolim at 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning, 15-20 minutes. Look, nidasana rautat udak burpak. Bagmalo, there is no water, but there is water for that Bagmalo beach resort. Tanka 24 hours water, but lokang Bagmalo chana. So you see, the management of that hotel, I believe, is very close to our MLA. Tanka 24 hours udak. Amcha lokang udak na. So it is Ami versus they. Army look, it is not Captain Viriato versus Movin Gudino. It is the people of Dabolim versus Movin Gudino. It is that battle. So water is a problem. Employment. There is a big airport, international airport. Amcha lokang job na. There is an industrial estate, Sangwal. There is an industrial estate Verna. Amcha burgyang job na. Avoy bapoy, rin katta, shikoita burgyang sacrifice karta, graduation karta, tanga job na. Khoy vetele te. आयज तांचो मंडल प्रेसिडेंट कोण ताचे कडेन 10-12 शेडी आहात सरकारान ताका शेडी दिल्या ही हॅज गिवन इट ऑन लीज ताजेर कंपनी घालूंक जाताल्यो लोकांक जॉब दिवंक जाताले सो दीस पीपल हे पळय हा पावरान न्ही ताणें दाबोलीत न्ही आख्खे गोंय विकून दिल्लें हा सेकंडली देर इज नो गार्बेज सिस्टम इन प्लेस नो सिवरेज सिस्टम इन प्लेस फक्त बिल्डिंगां बांदपाक दितात बिल्डिंगां बांदता सिवरेज खंय वेतली सो education, no proper education. There are schools. Regina Mundi is there. Rest of them have to go. Vidya Mandir is there. Bakichang St. Andrew Vechapatta. But a proper system is there. The schools on their own have been doing tremendous service to the people. But involvement of the government is nil. Youth and sports facilities are. That is part of your growth. Ice ki the ground ashille te ane builderang dilya. Jenna election yeta to foundation stone galta munta apun ground manun dita youthang. Only election time the fatorot galtat. That we will expose. We have exposed also. Bogmalacho ground te FC Goa diung satta. Kidak? Acha connection ha FC Goa kade. Movin Gudino should tell paid 37 properties. We have the details, survey numbers. 37 properties. Casino operators ang kone vikle to Movin Gudinan sangpache. ताचो हात आसा काय ना ते ताणे सांगपाचे नाल्यार आमी एक्सपोज करता आमचे कडेन प्रॉपर्टी डिटेल्स आसा ते गरीब लोकांक फटयले आयज खुबशे पेडणेचे लोक आमचे वाडे न्यू वाडे रावल्ले आसा टुडे casinos are coming in Perne. Who is the man responsible? People are saying Movin is trying to close the airport here and start. Why? Yes, I agree. Because the zomni konache te Movin Gudinan sangpacho.
So Captain, this is a youth-centric channel, so I want you to give a message to the youth of Goa, okay, in terms of joining politics or the defense forces.
If you see, तुई कॉलेजीन हल्लो तुई इस्कॉलान हल्लो केन्ना ना केन्ना पॉलिटिशियन मिनिस्टर MLA चीफ गेस्ट म्हूण आयिल्लो आसतलो if you recollect their speech, they will say, oh, youth are the future. Youth are, the future केन्ना येत ना. ये MLA नी minister आणि future दामून धरलेलो आसा. We are saying youth are the now. Future सोड आता, youth are the now. तांकां job जाय. Good education, security, development, overall development of the youth. There's no sports facilities, no proper education. आवय बापूय लोन काडटा भुरग्यांक शिकयता ताजे उपरांत जॉब ना. So there's a very uncertainty existing in Goa, especially I'm talking of Dabolim. So we have to have a full-fledged policy which we have formalized. We will be, I'm sure the Congress is going to come to power, all the surveys are showing. So this policy adpak jay amka. A secure future for the youth. Secondly, law and order is not there. Dabolim and shootout zalle thode mahine paile. He आमी केन्ना आयकूंकूच ना. One boy was killed in the shootout. So हे कित्याक जावपाक लागले? सायडीच्या constituency in Kortali also, Sankwad, gun काडले कोणे आनी कितें. They are also linked to our MLA. So somewhere we have to stop this nonsense which is going on. We have to build a new, secure, safe Goa. जे आमच्या वडिलांनी आवय बापायनी एक गोंय आमकां सांबाळून दवरलेलें तें आमी रेस्टोर करपाक जाय. I can tell you one thing. The youth will never forgive these politicians. Youth are now going to take control. We are there with the youth. We are going to back the youth. We want to form a new leadership of the youth. अशें न्ही की युथांक सांगपाचें, oh, you are the future. No, you are the now. We want the youth to grab these opportunities. We will be there. Only if the youth take control of Goa, Goa safe जातलें. So that is our aim. Employment for the youth, safe, secure for Goa for the youth. This is our vision.
So this is your message and the vision for the youth. Okay, Captain. Okay, so that was Captain Viriato Fernandes with us today, and he spoke at length of various things. And yes, definitely. At the end, I would just like to give a quote by Winston Churchill. We make our living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. And this very well fits in over here when we spoke to Captain, and because all his life he has given to society, given to the armed forces, and now he is giving back to the people of Goa. So with that, we come to an end of this episode. Thank you and keep watching Goan Vichar.